Hello, everyone. Good morning, good noon, good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you're watching. But anyway, today we're talking about The Lyle Princess in The Blind Prince, made and published by NIS America. Now, this game is available on PS4, Vita, and the Nintendo Switch. Oddly enough, no PC version. NIS has been doing a lot of PC versions of their games, so a bit odd. Might come down the road, possibly. If you get this physically, you get a special limited edition. As far as I understand, they'll all come like this for $39.99, brand new. You get the game, a soundtrack disc, and you get a delightful little book. It's not really big, it's hardcover than that, and it kind of just goes over the opening of the game, but not obviously the entire story. That'd be probably a bit spoilish. You also get reverse cover art for the game case of your choice, or at least the PS4 version does. I would assume the other ones. Now, also, if you're looking for the American version, you will not find a physical Vita version, sadly. There was only a physical version for the Switch and PS4 in America. If you want a physical version for that, you would have to import for the Vita version. Anywho, so, if you are familiar with these slight, scary horror games that NIS has been doing a lot on the Vita, mostly starring a lot of little girls in very terrible situations, this is kinda a spiritual sequel of those. So, this particular game, you again play as a girl, but this time you're not really so defenseless as a lot of the other girls in some of the other titles that they have done, such as Fairy Fly, the one where you're in the Japanese town, it's like Yuma, I can't remember how to pronounce it, and then you got the, that blood something of that. Blood Woes or something like that. It was a Vita one. Actually, if you wanted the physical version of that one, it was a NIS exclusive store item. But this one's idea continues similar ideas of puzzle solving and that, but it's a little different at the same time because you're not a completely defenseless character as you are in most of those games. In this game, you play as not a little girl, actually, technically, but actually, technically, a female werewolf creature, or wolf. But, the story, the set up the scenery, though, she sings to the moon every night, and one night, a prince overheard her singing, and would listen and clap after she's done singing. And she got used to this until one day the prince decided to see who was singing, and she accidentally scratched his eyes, blinding him because she didn't want him to see that she was a wolf. This sadly traumatized, and apparently the prince's parents are douchebags and locked the prince away because it's apparently one of those kind of kingdoms in the big old Middle Ages where it's like, well, you're disabled, nobody fucking cares about you, throw him in jail. Of course, the little wolf, concerned about the prince, decides to go to the castle and see what happened to him, and finds him locked away. So she decides that she wants to rectify the wrong she'd done, but she is concerned of obviously being a wolf and somehow, well, fixing that. So she goes to see the witch, who is mainly how she's going to solve the problem. The witch can grant wishes, essentially. But she also needs a wish to be allowed to help the prince, So the witch basically gives her a form-changing spell. She can change into a little girl and help guide the blind prince through the forest, and she can change back to the wolf to fight monsters and things, or solve other puzzles and that. This is very puzzle-heavy, but there are monsters for you to take down as your wolf form, but you can only guide the prince as the little girl, and as per se, a lot of puzzle games like this where you have multiple characters, you will of course be using the prince to also help with your puzzle solving of hitting switches, helping to carry things, and trying to navigate the two characters safely through the forest. Of course, the little wolf was able to get through the forest easy, but with the blind prince to be tagged along with disguising himself as a supposed princess, of a foreign kingdom that came to save him, you obviously gonna have a lot harder time to go through the forest. But essentially, it is just mainly a puzzle game. Other activities to do besides obviously getting through point A to point B, you can find flower beds and give the prince flowers, who is very charmed by flowers. You can also find flower petals. Now, the flowers themselves actually unlock little stories in your menu that actually give backstory to the witch, and the flower petals unlock additional artwork and such. But these are about the only side things to really do. I found almost everything. I missed one flower and just a few petals that were a little hard to figure out how to get. So I almost got like literally everything. And similar to Fairy Fly, if you're into trophy hunting, there are a few time challenge trophies. Fairy Fly had quite a few time travel, beat this stage in like 2 minutes, or beat this stage without dying, or stuff like that. So there's a few of those for you trophy hunters and that. This does have a platinum trophy as well. But there isn't too much to really go in about the gameplay. It teaches you all the things. The graphical style really kinda reminds me of Firefly. It really does. Actually, there's even a spitty plant thing that reminds me, because you had these spitty plants in Firefly. There's like 3 times, I believe 3 times you won those. Like I said though, I have the PS4 version of this game, and I was expecting it to run perfectly fine, but there were a few weird chug moments, not like game-breaking chug moments. It seemed like stages that were like really tall that you traveled up and down. It seemed like there was like some kind of middle ground in a few areas where it would like skip a frame or something. And not like talking about chugging like Blight Town and Dark Souls. No. Not that kind of chugging. But it was kind of like a weird dropped frame kind of thing. It was weird. It only happened at a few specific places. It wasn't very often. I think it only happened maybe 2 or 3 times. But it was a little odd considering this was on the PS4. Now I'm assuming the game was originally designed for the Vita, and they made the Switch and PS4 ports obviously because the Vita is lagging behind in ownership, sales, and kind of becoming completely discontinued in Asia at the end of this year, when it was basically I think it was the sign-up date ended last year, and they're using the last of the carts that the US division has. So yeah, it's pretty much all winding down this year. So, but I love the art style. It is a little bit peculiar on a few creatures, but it really does remind me of the art style in Fairy Fly. There ain't too many music tracks. There's a few. I really like the song that plays when you talk to the witch. Very good that. But overall, I would like it. It's just very hardcore puzzling. You do have jumping little bits of platforming, but those don't get too much until like at the end of the game. So it's just mainly a hardcore puzzle game. And even as a puzzle game, it's not a really hard puzzle game. Overall, it was pretty simple. The only 2 times I was really stumped were these 2 whittle parts where you had to solve a little whittle. One of them stumped me for a little while. The other one, I had to do a little more thinking, but I didn't take as long to solve it, considering it's a optional whittle, but you have to do it to get one of the flowers. Very odd instance. It's like, here's the end of the stage, but you could go here, solve a whittle, and maybe get something. Very odd little spot there. Like I said, this game is $39.99 physically. I think digitally, I think it's extra. No, wait. It's not on PC, but let me see what the PSN was. I'm not sure if it's different for the console. But I really did like it. It is a bit of a short game, sadly, though. It was about a little over 5 hours. I literally beat it in one day. Let's see, it is $19.99 digitally. So you're paying extra basically for the soundtrack and the booklets and owning it physically in the box and that. So that's up to you. 20 bucks is not too bad price. Some people will probably find it more hard to justify 40 bucks for a really short game, though. I really enjoy it, though. I liked the art style. I just do kind of wish it was a little longer, but I really do love the art, especially with the prince and the Lyle princess together. Like, a lot of scenes with them are very cute and very well drawn in that. But you'll have to kind of dictate it. Personally, I'd say $40 is not bad if you really, like me, you want a physical ownership copy. But if you're a little concerned about the price, 20 bucks is a really good price. Or if you want, you could wait for a sale for it to go a little lower or that. Because I do understand the concern of replay value. Like I said, there's only 2 types of collectibles. I was able to collect almost everything in one blind playthrough. And I mean, I play a lot of puzzle games, so I'm not like some casual noob in puzzle games. This is a pretty easy puzzle game. When it comes to the straight out normal puzzles, they're pretty easy to get through. So, in that regards, it is a pretty simple game, but I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. I like the environment that. I would love them to revisit the setting, but something tells me it's that kind of instance where, you know, it's not really meant to have any kind of sequel or expansion to its world. But it kind of makes me wonder a little bit more about the world. So those are my thoughts and recommendations about the game. So let me go into my final thoughts about the story. So of course, spoiler alert for those who don't want the end spoiled, but you're maybe you finished the game or you just want to know my thoughts on the ending or something. So in the end, eventually the prince finds out that she has been lying to him and that she is a monster, and panics and falls off a cliff and the two accidentally set the forest on fire, and she is deathly afraid of fire. Going through the flames to find the prince, they sadly find out the witch was also affected by the fire. Her precious collection, because she took the wolf singing voice. I kind of miss that, but I did that on purpose because I don't want to spell everything out. But she took her singing voice in the price to give her the ability to turn into a human. But her collection got burnt in the flames, so she kind of pissed, waging mass destruction around the forest herself. So you go to apologize to her, and you have to knock her out a few times to calm her down. And this is the only kind of boss fight type moment in the entire game. But it's basically this is where the most platforming and stuff happens in the game, and a test of thinking through the puzzles and situations of getting you through to the witch to hit her. And it wasn't too hard in my opinion, but it's definitely the biggest test of it all. But in the end, the witch gets calmed down, and you successfully restore the prince's eyes at the cost of your precious memories of being with him. So she forgets the prince, but the prince still comes and visits her and gives her a bouquet of flowers. And even though she can't remember for some reason, deep down in her soul, she still feels totally emotionally sad and happy and fulfilled from the offer of the flowers. And, well, whether you want to say they become lovers or friends or whatever you would want to take that as, they clearly have a happy ending, but her singing voice is terrible. But the prince still appreciates it and claps for her, even though, because she gave her singing voice up for him as well. So it's a nice simple ending, which is nice because a lot of these games have very dark endings. I mean, blank the blank 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 dies, and blank blank and finds out the blank 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 is all over and blank, and oh my goodness, her parents blank blank. And then you got the other game, well, and the blanks are just trying to make it very vague so you can't figure out what I'm talking about. Or the blank, 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 and oh my goodness, that ending, blank, 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 and her eye goes blank, and oh my goodness. Anyway, But a lot of the other games had a lot of darker endings. So I have to say I appreciate the nice, simple, happy ending. Because personally, when I first saw the trailer for this game, my first fear was the wolf was the one behind everything, which turned out to be slightly true. She was the reason the prince was blind, but I thought the game would keep this secret, not, it wouldn't show you the beginning and you'd get to the end and find like, oh, it's all her fault. So, I mean, that was slightly true, but it didn't keep it a secret, and I'm just glad it didn't go in a super dark route, because, honestly, that would have just been sad. It'd be very tragic. But I really enjoyed the game. This is a very simple review, though. Like I said, there ain't too much to go into. I didn't experience any bugs, really, of that. But the AI in that is a little, it's not, like, perfect or anything. It's a pretty simple game, like I said. There's not like a bazillion things to it. But would I definitely recommend it if you liked a lot of the past games they did like this? Well, you're in a not super aggressive kind of situation with a lot of puzzle solving. I really enjoyed it, but it's probably the easiest one out of all the NIS games they've did. Firefly is probably still the hardest one, so if you're looking for a really hard puzzle game, I would skip. If you really enjoyed the other ones and you're looking for another one, I would get. And if you like the cute premise of the story, I would get. But I know the price can be a little varying. I mean, I'm sure at some point the physical version might go down because they're still available, so they definitely weren't widely limited. So there's definitely copies there, so you could wait for a drop. But personally, I feel like I got my enjoyment for my $40. But again, I can understand some people might think that's a bit much for about 5 hours. Like I said, it's not a hard puzzle game, so I'd say at most, if you're really bad at puzzle games, I can't really imagine anyone going too far past 7 hours, really. But those are my full thoughts of everything in The Liar Princess and The Blind Prince. Please let me know what you think, and if you feel like you learned anything interesting about this game, please feel free to leave a like. If you felt like they taught you nothing about it, feel free to leave a dislike, with no regrets and no lies. But anyway, I hope you all have a delightful day. Praise the moon bros today. Let's just praise the moon for, well, the wolves out singing tonight and not eating anyone, so that's always a good thing. But I need to get back to my daily chores today. Anywho, thank you for watching, and until next time.
どうだった？私の作った朝ごはん。感想だよ。感想。そうか、そう。